Alrighty, I know I'm starting a little early today. This stream's going to be interesting because I've done a lot off stream, which I've been making a point not to do anything off stream, but there was a lot of things I wasn't doing because it's just boring to do on stream. Case in point, the living quarters, which we will go tour right now. Because I keep talking about having living quarters for all my followers. But again, building all those rooms gets rather boring to watch. So I decided to do them off screen, which I'm kind of glad I decided to do that off screen because you'll note we are on day 136, and most of those days that are missing is just mining out and building what we're going to go tour. So level 15 is living quarters. So Creative and Mumanji kind of get the first bit. They have a bed and locker each. And this is pretty much the layout of each room. We have the window. I haven't planted anything. The original idea is that you will actually have plants that you can see. Haven't got there, and I will explain why I haven't done that. Here's my quarters. I did build the cryo tube. What's its temperature currently at? 118. I'm thinking this might be plateauing. So we'll address that this stream. So last stream, we had the incident with the volatiles. It glitched my game. Now I will openly admit the Stirling generators could have exploded. They didn't explode. They just poof. And that's kind of how I knew the game was glitched due to, I think the explosion was too much for my Dorito of a laptop because it broke. And because the Stirling generator should have blown up, but instead they just deleted the gases, deleted themselves. It was just a mess. So I went back, I say it's okay because I actually survived the explosion. How the heck I survived the explosion without a suit, I don't know. But I survived the explosion, the equipment survived the explosion, but the data was corrupted. So I just rolled it back, fixed the Stirling generators so they wouldn't explode because you can only put a maximum pressure of 11 megapascals, and I was putting in 20, which again, it would have exploded had it worked properly, but it didn't. But we got the pressures down, we got them mostly balanced, and the system's now running. So I was building these rooms. Then as you can see, it's quite a bit of building. You got the beds. You got the window. It's supposed to go to greenery. So let's go through the names. Creative Luck and Mumanji. We have Jay Psycho and Jason. The 54 Bears and Isaac with a AZ. And this one didn't have a window, but there's a wall of stone right there, and that's why I'll get to that. But again, we'll see what distracted me. Casey the Loud Cat, my cat's count. Oak Spirit. Chemist for Hire, Cab Fan 626. And just to show, yes, you get your bed and lockers. We do need to have Amy come and clean up the ores. That can be done later. Entrantis 9 and Suzanne Gall. Got your room. Stored some of the quartz, and in fact, I can pull those out right now. Free up those lockers. Celeste and Blinky Bear. John 22110 and the last jelly beans. Didn't get the window in, and again, always intend to put the window in with greenery. And we'll explain what distracted me. Pickler Puma and Misty Winds, I figured you belonged together. Leafy Muscle and Clear. And those are all my current followers. But yeah, why I was doing all this, I said, hey, I should go check the trader because, I've been wanting that seed trader, that high tier seed trader, to see if I could possibly get the elite plants. And if you've looked at the title of the video, it had them. Now, I have never messed with these exotic plants, but we have the Hades flower beta, we have the winter spawn alpha, we have the tropical lily, and the alien mushroom. So yeah, we are going to mess with those today. I did get the genetics lab built. In fact, we can see here, living quarters is done, genetics lab is done. I did actually do the IC10 to fill the vending machine with the ores. So now as I trade, it will grab it will look at the, what's the say in English? It will look at the vending machine's contents, and if it's not looking good, it will fill it. I'm curious to see how if my stream is a little buggy today. I've been messing with my system, and I've been messing with Stream Elements. You might see up in the chat that Stream Elements bot is working, and it also did something to my OBS, so I'm not sure if it's working well or not. It's hard to know on my end. At least I know the sound's coming in well, so that's good. Greenhouse expansion and cryotube. Well, as you saw, we got the cryotube working, well, almost working. But we've been expanding the greenhouse too, which is another just boring rinse and repeat build. We got the 2 grow lights, and it's just expanding and duplicating the rooms. And this is where I stop. You may notice that we have a nice special built room, complete with gas mask for emergencies. Got an airlock. I kind of want to beef up these systems so it doesn't take as long to cycle through it. Because this has started to annoy me that it takes so long. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I'm beginning to wonder if my base is getting too big for my Dorito of a laptop. Alright, so we have our grow lights. We have our 5 bays. And you'll notice we have a bit of equipment in here that's not standard. We have an oxygen vent, a nitrogen vent, a CO2 vent, a volatiles vent, a nitrous vent. We have this filter to suck up nitrogen or nitrous and pollutants to go into this tank. You may notice that there's oxygen, nitrogen, and CO2 into this tank because, well, as you add gases, you need to worry about overpressurization. We tried to use just regular back pressure regulator. It did not keep up. This whole room almost exploded, but I caught it when I set up this thing so we could view the atmosphere. It popped the thing. And in fact, that should be lowering it already, so why aren't... Oh, I know why. Because it's reading it from there. Actually, no, because it should be reading that. Yeah, it should be triggering anytime it gets over 100. So we'll go look at that code. Airlock is so slow. You just put a big powered vent on this wall. That would improve that speed. And then just move this to the ceiling. Could just move that vent to the ceiling. We don't need to wait for you to pressurize. All right. This is messy code, but it worked. Well, it's supposed to work. Let's check that guy. All right. Oh, it's okay. Come up to here. We're supposed to load batch name sensor gas sensor experimental room pressure. Set the display to that pressure. And if it's over 102, it's actually supposed to be greater than. That could be the one causing the problem. So it's probably going to try to fill that first. We need to keep an eye on that. But as you can see, it's starting to balance the atmosphere. So this should go to 20 and then it should maintain, because I haven't, these chips actually balance it, but I currently don't have them set to 100. All right, why? Let's keep turning on. Did I mess up the name system? No, I pushed the wrong button. Alrighty. Come down to the pause. Powered. Alright, let's go check the name and just do a trick where you just copy it. Need to make sure I got the hash name right. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to be able to control everything from outside of the room, because the airlock takes a while. Ah, the name did get copied wrong. Nope, I keep doing that. There we go. Alright, so now if it goes too high, it's going to suck out the gas for 10 seconds. And then it's going to go check, check. Oh, we're going to need more CO2, and then fill the CO2. Let's have you displayed the temp. Originally, I was having these display above, but then the display was upside down, and I couldn't figure out how to flip it, so we just decided to move it. And then I want to copy that. Edit. There we go. Alright, so we want gas. We want temperature. Mm-hmm. Oh, it would help if I turned it on. Let's see if I did the math close. It's 42. All right. And that tells me we're going to want to have some temperature control in here as well, which I have failed to consider. I have no idea what happened there. Alrighty. Yeah, let's go get some insulated pipe and do the proper air conditioning of that room. Get one AC unit and a bunch of pipe so I can pipe to our cooling line. Because I did also improve the cooling of the base. So we'll go take a tour of the base. Starting at the lowest level. not much has changed, except we now have chute system. Ah, that's where you ended up going to. The one thing about this is, yeah, things sometimes fall through the floor, and you can't find them until you reload the game, and then you find them. So here's where I did some of the tests. So I had it manually display what it was reading, and I figured out how to read this system. Let's put it down. I'm going to save this as experimental greenhouse. And then we want to load this code. Like, this is not pretty code. I'm going to be honest. It's ugly, and in fact, in the troubleshooting, I had to disable the cobalt, and I never went back and re-enabled it. I figured cobalt wasn't that critical. I wasn't even producing enough cobalt for it to matter. Come on, potato. There we go. So, I named all the registries, which, if I wanted to be honest, I could save space by just not naming these registers. And I could, right here, you can even see this is where I disabled the cobalt amount. Set all of them to 0 at the start, just because it needs to count up how much is in the vending machine. We have it basically count through the vending machine's slots. It's got like 102 slots. It's got a lot of space it can go. But we basically go, all right, for iron goes into, yeah, okay. So we have a counting slot, which you don't see. We just use R0 as the counter. Loads the count and looks at what's the hash in that slot. Then, hey, is that hash equal to the hash of iron, the hash of copper, the hash of gold, the hash of coal, the hash of silicone? If it is, it branches to add iron, add copper, add gold. And then it's add iron. It then looks at the same slot, reads the quantity, and then adds that to the iron count. Very crude, but it works. And it goes through and does it for each and every one. You know, and right here, when you reach slot 99, go do fill. Then we come down to here to fill. So after it's gone through and read the slots, it comes down to fill. It makes sure. So up there, it might have accidentally added to the 99 count, so just puts it back at 99. And right here is this is still from the troubleshooting when I was trying to figure out what was going wrong. But if iron is less than 550, it will fill. And due to lag, this is actually supposed to be 600, but by the time it runs through the process and shuts it, it's just easier to say one stack less. So that's why you see 550, 350, 100, 100, 100, 100, And I probably should set that to just 102, but it works. And this makes sure that it just goes and fills the iron. And I've since learned I should do AL, and then down here, instead of jumping to reset, it can just return here and go to the next one. But we'll work on that next round. But it fills everything up, you know, fill iron. It calls this silo, which I didn't bother. I was trying to save space, so I didn't do the hash name like I did here. It's just the straight hash name, then the name of the silo, open, wait a second, and then close. I probably could remove that and then it wouldn't have that one stack lag, but that makes sure at least one stack goes through. And now you see, after I removed the bulk of the troubleshooting, I probably could re-engage the cobalt. I just haven't gone around to it yet. But this is probably the biggest code I've ever written. When you do include the cobalt, it fills the whole space. Now, there's probably a way to do like I did with the centrifuges, because all this is basically the same, and just use the stack to go, hey, cycle through, cycle through, cycle through, cycle through. But I'm happy that this is working. Can it be improved? Yes. I just mentioned several ways that it can be improved. Like, again, you technically don't need to name them here. I could use this to actually just push everything into the stack, and then it would move much smoother. But I'm happy it's working. Plans for the next playthrough is basically everything from this half back works great. From this half forward, well, it's really this thing here that needs to be improved. I have two options. I can either learn that, I can either try to reduce it using the stack, which if that works, then I can keep it on one chip. Second option is to break it up into two chips. One chip just processes and reads the vending machine and then outputs to displays that have been named iron, copper, zinc, and all that. So that way I can put the displays at the trading center. And that way I can just look up and see on the wall how much iron, how much copper, and that is there before I even call the traders down. And then since that's displayed there, I can pull the information from there to tell the silos whether they need to refill or not. So I can either break it into two chips or try to make this more streamlined and do it that way. I think I'll probably start by making the two chip code where I basically clean this up to have the cobalt, slam that down, duplicate this setup. I'll probably add the fourth deep miner though, and then have a second chip that manages the display at the trading center and all that. I do also want to see what happens if I put two vending machines onto the trade network. Will it take the stuff I buy from the trader and put it in the first vending machine placed? Or will it just pick randomly? Because it'd be nice if this could just store all the old ores that needed to be sold, and I had a separate vending machine up higher that everything I bought went into. Get the crowbar ready, because we will need the crowbar. So, you'll see I tied into the cooling pipe. And that goes into the room. This is where I can fill the thing with more gas, which, speaking of which, there we go. And my base was starting to make quite a bit of heat, which we kind of knew was going to happen. That's why we put the AC upstairs, and it just wasn't cutting it. The funny part is, I just have this here, or I can shut it off if it starts to get too cold. And I have these two radiators to help cool the base. And so far, these two are working because this pipe here, yep, wrong modular. Let's switch it back to Atmo. It's pretty cold. It's got 7 radiators up on the surface, cooling it. I still haven't energized these doors. That's more to force me to be mindful. And are we at the end of a hot cycle, or are we in the start of a hot cycle? All right. Are you going up or down? Up or down? Let's see here. This might actually give us a better indicator. 70.9. Okay, it's going up. So we're in the middle of a cycle. So this chip reads this guy. If we're above 100 degrees C, it shuts down the H2 combustor. Then when it gets below -20, it kicks back on. So far, I haven't had to add the modifications. This mixer has been doing a pretty decent job maintaining a good ratio. It's not exactly perfect, but it's close enough for me. We put the H2 combustor in a vacuum because it was burning at basically 2000 Celsius, and that was heating up this room very, very fast. So we decided to put it in a vacuum, and it helps this room stay cool. And as you can see in this room, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 radiators cooling this room. And between the 7 above and the 5 in here, it does a pretty good job of cycling. When we are running the cycle, you can see 4.5, 1.4, and this one is on the kind of sad side, I'll admit it. You can see the pressure differential. I could definitely boost the pressure up. Right now, I'm still being a little timid about that. One of the things I'm thinking about doing is expanding this room and putting a second Stirling generator at this phase. Because this guy is producing a lot of power. Looks like the cycle ended. This guy's producing a lot of power. Not you, I wanted the other guy. And the pressure coming out, which again, it's hard to tell once you're at the end of a cycle. But the pressure differential between here and here, there's a lot of pressure built up over here. And I'm wondering what happens if I put a second Stirling generator over here to feed into this one. Will I get better numbers on this one and thus more out here? And that's why I don't really want to mess with the gases too much. It's because there might be another way to optimize it. Don't know. I'll be honest. The Stirling generators is just a trying to reclaim power. The main point of this room is to make, which admittedly I've been trying to do this whole run through without having to use water ice but I failed. I had to go get water ice. I was so focused on mining and building the living quarters, I wasn't paying attention to the traders. I wasn't paying attention to how much water we had, and we ran out of water. Luckily, I was able to save all the plants. No plants died. Go mine water ice. I was hoping I could at least be like, oh, I found a trader and bought it, but nope, nope. I had no traders selling me water, and I needed water now. Alright, take off my suit. So we installed the ice crusher. We have our 2 water tanks. We have the gas tank, which all the steam goes in. It's connected to some radiators. Let's pick up all this fertilizer, which I should do a better job of managing, but I kind of just cheated. Put this, oh, hydration needed. I need to hydrate. Thank you, steam elements. That's why I put it there, is to remind me to drink fluids. Although the irony is, I don't have my 64 ounce right now, I only have my 32. Alright. But yeah, I need to do a better job of managing fertilizer. Ideally, I'd be using the fertilizer. But the greenhouse isn't quite there yet. I do love that you can put the silos in sideways. Alright. Leave that there for the next cycle. And you have 474 left to process. So that's going to take a while to process. I'm not in any hurry. The grass is ready to be harvested, but there's no real rush. Nice part is we have plenty of seeds. We have the strawberry seeds, we have blueberry and watermelon. As much as I wanted to focus on plants this playthrough, it hasn't been a priority, sadly. A lot of other things have come up. We've done a lot. Like, I'm very proud of what I've accomplished in this playthrough. It is definitely the most elaborate base I have built so far. But if I'm honest, the moon is starting to wear on me. It's just the moon. And also the base is starting to, this is one of the cycles of Stationeers, is you learn new systems, you build the base, and next thing you know, you realize, I built the base too small. And I've learned so much that it's like, ooh, next time I build a base, I know what to do instead. And I'm really starting to feel all that, because while I thought I had a good plan for this space, this living area, which isn't even supposed to be the living area, kind of shows what happened. Is I had this small space that I could survive in, and I completely neglected the upper living area. I talked about expanding the production zone. I didn't. But I feel now that I have the deep miner and all, like, here's the big joke. Level 0, I think I have that figured out. I'm happy with the code. It can be improved, but the code is good. Mostly the improvements I have for the ground level isn't about the ground level, it's about the upper floor. In fact, let's put the suit back on and go talk about those things. Part of the issue on why I kind of am getting tired of the moon is the moon doesn't really push you to do things. Like, when it comes to the cooling, like, I've been helping Creative do the phase change. There's no phase change loops in this base. The closest we have to a phase change is that's how I'm separating my liquid water. That's it. I have the 7 radiators on the top of the base, and that's more than sufficient for this base. It's not pushing me. We have this nice gas storage. This isn't, and like, we're barely at 2 kilomoles. It's sad. Well, I say it's sad where, oh, it shows you how efficiently we've been doing things. We've only made that much pollutant, which is kind of amazing. We got volatiles for days. We don't have much nitrous, but we haven't had a need for nitrous. CO2. We got 3 kilomoles of CO2. We got 22 kilomoles of nitrogen. We have 51.8 kilomoles of oxygen. Which kind of means if I wanted to pressurize my base better, I probably could. I don't really see a need to. As you can see, I can take my suit off, and we're doing fine. Out of our suit. No problem. We're even having a bit where ore or iron or ingots are just piled up. And I know part of this is me. I mean, I could real easy just use all these resources and make the high tier stuff. I could make the Amy's. I could make the ogres. I could make the rockets. But I feel like this base is already handling everything it needs to handle. We got power for days. We're definitely accumulating gases, which, trying to keep in mind, yes, I'm on the moon. There's plenty of ices to crush and put in here. You know, that's what this is for. So, like, if I wanted to, I could just grab the nitrous, drop it in there, and there's my nitrous. Which legitimately is how I got some nitrous in the system. I just had, while mining, I had some nitrous I just wanted to get rid of, and I threw it in the system. But I could make a nitrolyzer, do that. We're clearly making more than we need. Let's skip that level and go all the way to the top. Yeah, I'm not even running this unit anymore because those radiators up there and the 2 radiators down there have been managing the entire base. We still haven't moved this because, again, we have the one trading thing. And why there are larger traders, haven't seen any. I've yet to see a trader that was larger than 6x6. If I did see one, I would real quickly drop everything, build that bigger to accommodate. But so far, I haven't seen any. Put on the suit. One thing that we have not done, and I could rig it up with a just simple pull, just like this guy, So right now we still manually vacuum out the airlock here. And we have to manually engage the atmosphere. Which is typically a pain because I got to vacuum that room out, come out. Well, we got to shut the doors, come in here, vacuum it out, run all the way up here, get back up, turn it on, and then wait for it to fill up. I could fairly easily attach another lever where you pull the lever and it turns that on. When you close the lever, it puts it in reverse and it checks to see whether this is open or closed. If it's open, it can just shut this off. I also realize that guy is basically worthless right now. I have no way of controlling him. But with these two power banks, powering this guy is not a problem. And I'll admit, I had full intentions of making this the last stream. That's why I worked so hard on level 7, or this level. But then something happened that has never happened. I managed to get the high tier sea trader. I have a theoretical understanding of how these plans are supposed to work, but we're going to do this live, with me not really knowing what I'm doing. But that's the whole point of this setup. And I just realized what we were supposed to be doing was setting up an AC thing for this. We got the gas mask with pollutant and volatiles, because based on the theory, that's what we're going to be dealing with. Do I plan on going in there without my suit? No. I'm planning, but just on the off chance of stupid, I have that there. Let's go get what we need for the AC before I get distracted again. What's that? I swear these airlocks are getting slower. Yeah, I'm thinking that update to OBS I'm probably going to uninstall because it's really the only thing I've changed, and I'm not liking how my system is running this stream. Before I make an atmosphere, do I have another one over here? Because there was that time that I just made a crap ton of atmospheric kits by accident. Nope. And we're going to need more of a resource. Let's check in here, make sure. Okay, we are going to need silicone. I already know that. For all the steel pipes. Alright, and we're going to need copper. Let's go get us some copper. That's going to be one of the other systems I want to install in the next playthrough. It's just like this guy has it where it will auto request ores. I want to get my printers to auto request ingots. Give that to me. Let's go. I think phase 1 of the ingot request is actually not even going to be requesting ingots. It's going to be the manual. I'm going to have a wall next to the furnace, and it's just going to make sure there's always a stack waiting for me to grab on an output chute. So that way I don't have to go down to the mining floor to alright, close that. Alright. Make me an Atmo. I want to come here and go insulated pipes. There. We're probably going to want like 2 stacks fairly easily. And do we have regular iron pipes around? Oh wait. There we go. That will allow us to assemble the air conditioner. So we'll get 2 stacks of the pipe, and then we'll go install a cooling loop into that greenhouse. Oh, that's going. Speaking of cooling loops. How'd water get in here? I'm guessing it was in the cylinder that fell to the ground. But we have a purge for liquids. We don't have to worry about the pipe bursting. As long as it doesn't snow in the pipe, we're good. Yeah, we have a condensation valve outside of the base, so any liquid that forms in that network vents to the atmosphere. Originally, I actually had a pipe going to a liquid drain, but then ice formed and it burst the pipe and it acted as a liquid drain. Alrighty. Not you. You. Do I want to grab the pipe from there? No. Now I'm going to go onto the exterior and do the pipe. Hopefully that doesn't break the stream. Because OBS started to yell at me about lower a setting, lower a setting. So I did. And it does not appear to break the stream. Hydrate is needed. Okay. I will listen. There, I hydrated. Okay, OBS, let's see here.